Hi, I'm Gareth Spence, and welcome to Tech Talk. For service providers, the cost of keeping networks running is one of the biggest drains on operational efficiency. Adtran's Mosaic 1 Clarity is designed to change that, using AI to move operators from firefighting to prevention. To explain how, I'm joined by Adtran's Robert Conger. Robert, what specific problems are you trying to solve with Mosaic 1 Clarity?
Well, I think it's really two parts we're looking to solve. One is operational efficiencies, so like actually taking all this data, analyzing it with AI tools, and providing actionable results. So instead of just, hey, you have alarms going on in the network, and then going and investigating and trying to determine root cause yourself, you get to root cause analysis already with AI tools, and it gives actionable next steps. The second part, though, is so that obviously reduces OpEx is a big factor, but there's also, in addition to OpEx reduction, you also have churn reduction. A lot of times, subscriber churn is related to issues that maybe the customer didn't even call in about. So getting more proactive with all these insights and proactively addressing customer subscriber issues before they actually start can actually help lower churn reduction as well. So from an operator, obviously a lot of long-term revenue value attached to churn reduction as well as the operational efficiencies.
There's a lot of noise in the industry at the moment about AI. What's different about what Adtran is doing?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple parts. One is we're multi-vendor, so when we talk about taking data from the network, that could be Adtran equipment, that could be third-party equipment. We're also multi-domain, so looking at the transport network, the IP aggregation network, the access network, the actual fiber infrastructure itself, the in-home subscriber networks, taking data from all of those parts of the network and analyzing that data with AI tools and creating results. So it's that multi-domain, multi-vendor is probably one of the biggest differentiators you look at. And I would also say the platform itself is developed in a way that it's open for the service providers to build their own AI tools on top. So it's not really a closed Adtran ecosystem. A lot of times you'll see that as a vendor develop a system that's entirely a closed ecosystem. It gives you some results, but it's only for their equipment, and you can't leverage your own tool set. So we see a lot of operators adopting, whether it's Claude or Codex or their own AI skill sets. And so they can actually plug those tools into our system with Mosaic 1. It's not just really Mosaic 1 Clarity, but it's the overall AI ecosystem that we're developing.
How does this tool help teams such as field engineering with the day-to-day operations?
Well, you can imagine in our industry, there's a lot of complexity, right? So whether not every team has a team of DWDM experts or IP MPLS routing experts or Wi-Fi expertise. So it allows a service provider to scale up in that technical proficiency without having all these experts, because the AI tools can be the expert. So it actually helps them, also without chasing a bunch of unknown issues. AI tools tells them exactly, here's the issues, here's the next steps, and wherever possible or proactively address those issues. So I mean, you kind of see this operators being able to scale their networks without scaling their headcount and actually be a lot more efficient with the people they have on their team.
Predictive maintenance is a big theme in the industry right now. What does it actually look like in practice with Mosaic 1 Clarity?
Yeah, so I mean, historically, like I said, you had dashboards like S&MP alarm logs and things like that. That's what people would look at for kind of clues about what's going on in the network. And then we kind of evolved to like this single pane of glass, but it was still dashboards. It was like, here's a dashboard about how the network's performing. And then the operator themselves was supposed to look at those dashboards and then make their own conclusions. Now it's kind of taking that a step further. It's analyzing, it's doing that role that would have been people staring at dashboards is now turning that. The AI tools are actually like, okay, here's all the data from the network, and this, based on all the history that we have of what's happened in your network, but not only your network, but other operators, similar issues that have occurred, we're this confident, like we're 80% confident this is a likely issue. And based on that, here's the next steps you should take. So it's very transformative in terms of how you go about operations. So now, if I'm a network technician, I'm no longer just looking out. I can look across a lot of data really quickly because I have all these AI agents that are already analyzed the data, and I can kind of help orchestrate those next steps and actions to kind of preventative maintenance type actions. So, it's really just that, hey, here's the exact next steps, go execute, and focus more on execution and less on problem, kind of analyzing the problem.
One challenge service providers often talk about is knowing which issues really matter. How does Mosaic 1 Clarity help teams prioritize what to act on?
Well, I mean, what some of the AI tools are really good at is you can actually look at how many subscribers are impacted by a specific issue, and is it outage affecting or not. So the AI tools can already categorize that. So again, that would be something that a network operator would typically have to do themselves, but it's based on a set of metrics they had in their mind, usually related to how many customer impact. And so the tools will actually pre-sort that information, so you kind of get not only a list of actions, but in a prioritized order.
What's the customer's response been to the product?
Overwhelmingly positive so far. So like we've been in early stage deployments with dozens of operators. We're continually expanding that. And so far it has been overwhelmingly positive. And we've seen in some cases as much as $50 or more per subscriber in savings, cost savings, just based on these initial deployments. So a very sizable impact. So that's based on both churn reduction as well as OpEx reduction, just from how much more they're able to accomplish with their limited staff. So yeah, it's probably one of the more transformative tools that we've been able to launch in the industry in the last decade or more, a couple decades, in terms of changing how operators operate these networks.
Final question: what does all this mean for the future of network operations?
I mean, so we're still in the early stages right now with these tools. So I would say if I was talking to an operator today, a lot of it's all about more speed, more capacity, more scale, getting more things connected with fiber. That's been kind of the last 10 years of our industry, it feels like, and building more for web scale. So now we're kind of moving into this phase where you have a lot of capacity, and now it's how to operate more efficiently, and how do I improve the subscriber experience and get more reliability of the network. And so again, we're early stages with AI, but if I kind of look forward in a couple of years, I think we're going to go from a low single digit adoption of AI tools to drive the network to a very, very high, I would expect 90-something% of the operators to all be deploying some form of AI tooling to kind of help operate their network. So I expect this to move quick, and operators to jump on board, because the savings are so obvious and immediate. So I think like I said, I think we're in the early stages, but expect the rapid adoption, and it'll just continue to innovate, just like you've seen the rest of the AI industry. Everything kind of moves very fast. And so I think we'll see the same with this kind of AI ecosystem for operations.
Robert, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth.